Welcome to the Verdin Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. I got my guy G-Sportz in the cut with me. G, how you feeling? How was your weekend?
It was all right, man. Not bad, not bad. I went to the Saints game yesterday and was very disappointed. I was hoping all my predictions about the Saints winning 5 or 6 games, I was hoping that it was going to change my mind being there in the dome, and I feel the same way I did before the season started.
Come on, Juwan Johnson. So close. So close. Yeah, so far. Yeah, I'll give it to them, though. They had a competitive game. Competitive game, G. We got something to be excited about. The Packers, man, hey, they got me sweating. If Thursday JD5 don't murk us, I'm going to be like, holy shit. We could actually win a Super Bowl. Pardon my French, everybody. But hey, you got to get excited. You got to smell the Kool-Aid a little bit. My fantasy football team, murked. I'm 1-2 this week in fantasy. I got 3 leagues, G. I only won one of them.
I'm
Started
2-0. Cook, the running back for the Bills,
Buffalo.
came through for me. He
He had
came through
21.
for me. I was down 17 points. He ended up getting 20 points,
Damn.
so I ended up winning. I ended up winning, man. I was kind of concerned because he only had like 6 points at half,
Yeah, bro, he
and
had
then
like
he kind
19
of,
yards or some shit. It was bad.
did his thing in the second half to prevail me, so I can get the win.
Last night, that Sunday night football game, dog, it don't matter who you bet on for a touchdown. Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, James Cook, Keon Coleman got in there. Shit, everybody scoring. That was a all-time classic. I think they had, 80 total points? Good Lord. Vegas got murked on that one. Let's talk about LSU. Let's talk about Brian Kelly. Keep the main thing the main thing. Trades Green, G. We got an update on him today. He's hurt for a few weeks. BK's not going to rule him out officially yet. Writing's on the wall for it, though, if I do say so myself. It's only an MCL sprain, so he'll come back. At most, it'll be a few weeks. Thank God for that. I'm very fortunate because Trades Green's a big piece. We were talking about the red zone struggles, right, G? That only gets worse if Trades Green is out of there with how big of a focal point he is in that offense, with how much things you can do with him. I mean, I don't need to say his height. Everybody can say it at the same time. You've heard it over and over and over for the past few weeks. Um, I'll say this about LSU though. At least you're deep enough where you've got weapons. You've got even tight ends. You've got Bar Sharp. You've got Donovan Green. If you really need to reach out and get Giovanni out there, you got him. And then you got all the weapons in the wide receiver room. What's your take on this? And do you think LSU could potentially have that explosive offense if Trades Green's sidelined?
It's definitely going to put LSU's offense in a different category when you talk about how explosive they could be, because Trey Green is such a mismatch, bro. Like 6'7", we talk about it all the time. His movements, the way he could drop his weight. I mean, you name it, he could do it at his size. And so, not having a game plan for him puts things a little easier for the defensive coordinator for whoever is getting ready to face LSU. Having said all of that, they're still gonna be tough. They still got a lot of weapons. You know, you talk about how Xavier Thomas motion into the backfield, how to use him as a receiver, to use him in these little gadget ways. Aaron Anderson, Barry Brown, um, Nick Anderson. You know, even though he didn't have a whole lot of yards, it was nice to see him get a touchdown and get his confidence built up on Saturday. So and then Caden Durham, I still don't think he's played at his full potential yet. You saw some flashes from Harlem Barrett. Hopefully, he gets some more
Mhm.
touches going forward. So they still have a lot of guys they could lean on to make some plays. We still waiting for Chris Hilton to kind of hit his stride, right? So a lot of plays left to be made by this offense. If I had the grade the offensive performance on Saturday and against Clemson, the most I can give them is a C+, right? And you know they're only going to get better. We hope that they can get better, right? But I think Trey Green being out for a couple weeks, I think they can manage, but they need to get him back as fast as they can.
100%. Yeah, that's a big, big, big piece of this entire offense. Not even just if he's catching the ball, G, the amount of tension that he's going to attract, the amount of bodies that are going to have to go over him to be able to even have a chance at stopping him. It's going to be a big narrative going into it. People have been pissed, though, dog, with the run game, with the play call, and everybody's putting their coaching caps on and criticizing. Like you were saying, though, with Harlem Berry, I need more of Harlem Berry, dog. He looks so good. He looks explosive. If we're doing this ride the hot hand, I think he can creep up and in a few weeks probably wind up being your second best back in this entire run. I mean, I've liked what I've seen from him. Let's talk about that offensive line real quick, though. Braylon Moore, ankle sprain. BK says it's not a high ankle sprain. He's not got to worry about no tightrope surgery. He's questionable for Saturday. They're going to put him on a day-to-day status as of right now. After he went out, though, O-line looked rough, dog. They gave up 3 sacks to LA Tech. Chester did come in at center, and I'll give him props because he wasn't expected more than likely to get in the game, especially at that point. He's been ready, so to speak, on the side, waiting for his name to be called. His name was called, and it wasn't the best performance, but it also wasn't the worst. Like, you're not in a situation where you're without. You have a guy who started last season an entire year, I think 13 games as center, so it could be worse. I'll say that. How do you, in this instance, balance keeping the continuity offensive line while also trying to have the best group out there? Because I think it's coming to that point where you might see a Cohen Eccles get pushed out if Braylon Moore's out. You might see Carius Kern come slide back in. Maybe Josh Thompson moves around. Do you think they do an O-line shuffle if Braylon Moore can't answer the bell?
Yeah, they for sure gonna make some changes. Not having Braylon Moore on Saturday against Florida against a good front will hurt LSU. I
Mhm.
know DJ Chester started last year at center, but Braylon Moore has played in college for 5 years. He is a gritty veteran that has seen it all. I don't give a damn if he was in the ACC. He understands it's nothing he's going to see on Saturday that he's never seen before. And what we always say, bro, I sound like a broken record. Experience is the best teacher.
The
And having
best.
him out there against an SEC opponent like Florida just makes things so much easier, not only for the offensive line, but for Nussmeier. So I do believe in DJ Chester. I do think he can get the job done and not hurt the offensive line. But if they Braylon Moore can go, bro, they need him in that lineup.
How do you balance that? Like, how do you know when Braylon Moore is ready? Because naturally the player is going to say, put me in, coach, put me in. But how do you
His,
not make it worse?
I think it's gonna go off for his pain tolerance and can he plant? Pain tolerance and can he plant? If he could plant and it doesn't hurt his mobility, I think you see him play. Look, he's not going to be 100%, but guess
Right.
what? A 75%, Braylon Moore is better than, and there's no disrespect to DJ Chester. I think that's better than having DJ Chester at center, just from the mental aspect of the game.
Mhm. No, I agree. I think that Braylon Moore is undoubtedly one of the biggest additions this offseason on both sides of the ball. But what you've seen during Clemson, and unfortunately what you saw in the lack of him against LA Tech. You got the win, 23-7. Not the prettiest game. You almost had a shutout. I'll give you some credit there. Shout out to Barry and Brown. Had a great game. In the absence of Chris Hilton and Destin Hill, too, because those three receivers, I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but their size, their kind of their makeup, they bring the same skills and characteristics to the table. Barry Brown, only one who's really been progressing this year. What do you think is the reason for that? Is there just too many people in the room? I know Destin Hill's obviously got the injury, so we'll take him out of this equation. But Chris Hilton, that's been a talking point a lot too as well. Where's Chris Hilton been?
I think a little bit of Chris Hilton's lack of involvement in the offense is probably the way they're scheming him, the way they're trying to utilize him. I think a lot of the times that Chris Hilton is being used is for him to blow the top off the defense and for him to stretch, down the field. And I think that when he comes into the game, defensive coordinators are on alert. These guys are going to make sure they keep a safety up top, to not let him get behind them. And when you are one dimensional like that, and I'm not saying Chris Hilton is one dimensional, I'm saying the play calls and how they trying to use him makes it seem like that's all he can do. And when guys look at film and they see all y'all trying to do is blow the top off with him, they're gonna be prepared for that. They're gonna be prepared for that. So I just think they're gonna have to try to figure out some different ways to use Chris. Whether it's run a 7 yard hitch and let him catch the ball and try to turn a field. Throw a screen to him. I know they try to throw one like a Nile pass to him against Clemson and he fumbled,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't let that deter you from still trying to put the ball in his hand because he is a playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how Joe Sloan tries to implement him going forward, or are they just gonna rely on Barry Brown, Aaron Anderson, Bauer Shaw, and Xavier Thomas? Because that's what it's been looking like over the first 2 weeks.
It has been. Yeah. And shout out Barry and Brown. I can't lie. I really like the way he's adjusted into this role and grown, at least in terms of expectations.
I
Um,
still I still think Aaron Anderson is wide receiver one though. I
oh, he
think
is. Aaron Anderson, bro.
when it's third down and you need a play or a game on the line, you need a play, go see
Where
one, man.
Hey,
Go see
where
one.
Uno? Where Uno, spot him,
Let's
got
see
him.
one.
Dog, if Aaron Anderson, and he's phenomenal already like this, I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but I'm just saying, dog, if he was like 6'3", bro, everybody would be talking about him like a Jeremy Smith. Like a lot of people discredit him because of size, but when you see him
Yeah.
out there in the field working and getting that space, he a monster, bro. He definitely is,
And
bro.
and look, and this is another thing people don't know about. Man, Aaron is battling a toe injury. So he's
Really?
not even 100%. So
Dang.
just think about when he gets all the way healthy. And I know that's probably hard to say because they got a game. I don't think they had their first bye week till when? Like sometime in
It's
November or
on
something
the
like that.
4th.
But
October 4th, they're gonna have one.
okay, October 4th. Damn, sooner
Yeah,
than later. But he's not even all the way 100% right now, and he's still playing at a high level.
I agree. Yeah, we're gonna get one right after Ole Miss, right before South Carolina.
Now they usually had a bye week before Bama.
Yeah,
So
I
they
think
changed it this year.
yeah, because we're gonna have 2 bye weeks. I'm pretty
Also,
sure.
they got one for before Bama too.
Um, Actually, 25th to 8th. Yeah, they will have one because that's a far ass gap. Yeah, I think they're gonna have it right after A&M, right before Bama. Hey, that's a perfect time to have it. I ain't lying. After Ole Miss, right before South Carolina, and then right before that Bama game. If I had to pick where I'm putting them right there. Shout out to them. Here's my take, real quick. Mini preview for Florida. I think that the defense can keep it within striking distance. I'm not trying to discredit Florida. Phenomenal offense. They did have some issues. They did have some penalties. They did have some moments where I'm like, okay, cool. I see little blemishes in the armor where I think that LSU could capitalize. Now, obviously, you're gonna have to do it on Saturday. I mean, paper ain't gonna win you the game, G. But with the way that I've seen Blake Baker scheme and put together some packages, dog, I think that this could be one of those moments where it's a 14-14 game at the end. And look, the Clemson game, I'm not saying it wasn't high scoring. Yeah, it could have been 27 to 10 at the end of the game. You got that touchdown call back. But my point is, it was a defensive battle, a tug of war, if you will. A lot of people thought it'd be an offensive shootout, top quarterbacks battling each other out. You could potentially see that on Saturday. I'm not going to lie.
One of the things that I'm concerned about going into this game on Saturday is the running game of Florida. I can't pronounce the last name of Florida's running back number 13, but he runs with a purpose, bro. You cannot on tackle this guy. He falls forward. He's trying to punish you. He has a nice stiff arm. They do a good job of getting him the ball, bro, and letting him get downhill. LSU gonna have to make sure they gang tackling him and not let him, get 4 and 5 yards of carry on Saturday.
Yeah,
And the
that's what
next
he
thing,
averaged.
right, he could tote that pill. And then look, DJ Lagway, he is, in my opinion, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the country. He's still learning. He's still trying to figure it out, right? But when you talk about ability, attribute, skill set, bro, he got it. So they cannot take this guy lightly on Saturday. But I do think Blake is going to do a good job disguising his coverages and disguising blitzes and going to try to confuse him a little bit, move them safeties around. And I think that's what you got to do him on the road, bro, to kind of make him have to think, well, he can't just use his skills. And
Mhm.
if they do that, I think they could possibly get a turnover or two again, with Lagway on Saturday, bro. And do not sleep on their receiving core. They have about 4 or 5 receivers that could go, led by Eugene Wilson. The thing gonna come down to, can Billy Napier call a good game? Because that's what all the Florida fans and the people in the media been giving him a lot of flack about, is his play calling. It ain't the personnel, because their roster is super talented, bro. They got a good offensive line, they got some good running backs, they got a talented quarterback, they got a really talented receiving core. Like, I'm gonna go on record and say Florida's receiving core is just as good as LSU's receiving core. I'm just being honest with you. And if Billy can call a good game, bro, and get them the receivers the ball, it could be a long day for LSU's defense. But I think Blake gonna be ready for the call.
Billy Napier's calling the plays this year, right? Was he calling them
Yeah,
last year, or is it the
he
first
been
season?
he been
Okay.
calling plays since UL, bro. He been calling plays since UL, and a lot of people have been saying, and I've even been critical of Billy Napier when you talk about calling plays. I think that he would do such a better job of just overseeing the game and overseeing the team and let somebody else call the plays, bro. I just think that's something he need to really think about going forward. I don't anticipate him doing it this season, right? Look at Mike Norvell. He was calling the plays for Florida State. He said, you know what? It's just too much for me to have to figure out what packages and personnel and all these different things and try to manage the game as a head coach. Let me go ahead and hire Gus Malzahn. That was a home run hire, bro. And I
What?
think
Yeah.
Florida State has benefited from that. I think that's something Billy Napier might have to think about if they don't see this offense continue to grow as the season go on.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out Gus. Holy shit, 77 points this past week. And Florida gonna play Florida State too. It's gonna be an interesting matchup. I was looking. We'll talk about the odds in a little bit, but I was looking at the schedule, bro. Because before when we were at SEC Media Days, we were talking about the rough draw that Florida grabbed, dude. But if you look at their three non-conference, USF, Miami, Florida State, you already dropped USF, dog. There is a real possibility that they drop these non-conference games because that's tough as opponents. Florida State was slept on before the season. They come in here, they're 2-0. They beat Bama. They dropped 77 points on East Texas A&M. Castellanos looks like a dog. Gus is calling perfect game after perfect game. It'll be interesting to watch. I ain't gonna lie. Billy Napier, unfortunately, he's getting some scrutiny. Like you said, there's the hot seat comments. Brian Kelly reacted to it today. I liked what he said, G. I'm gonna get you to respond to it, but let's let BK have the moment for a second.
His team, he knows what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Hold up. There you go, BK. Had to get that situation.
You can see it on film. He's building a culture that is fit to his eye in terms of what he wants to do. He's doing it his way. And that's awesome. I think that, look, I came in here, right, and Ed was here. And he won a national championship, right? But he did it his way, right? It was his way, and that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way they wanted to make a change. I do it my way. It takes time to put in your philosophy and the way you like to do things. I do them a lot different than Ed does. But he still won, right? They asked for a change. I came. It takes time to make that change. And it's the same thing with Billy. Billy's come in after 2 or 3 other head coaches that changed the way the other coaches did it. And now he's starting to stabilize that program. So people talk about whatever they want. It's crazy. It takes you what it takes. And he'll get that thing where he wants it. I think he's got it right now. They beat us last year. He knows his.
And I like what Brian Kelly's saying in this instance because not a lot of people, everybody wants instantaneous results. G, what's your thoughts on this?
I couldn't agree with BK any more than all of the different things that he just said in this press conference, bro. When this what comes with the blue blood schools, the LSU, the Floridas, the Texas, the Alabamas, the Michigans of the world, fans, media, boosters, alumni, they want to see overnight success.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not realistic, bro. It's not. It's not. You have some people that hit it guns blazing, year 1, year 2, but it's just that's not common, bro. You got to get some of these cancers out of the building. You got to get your guys in. You got to get them to understand how your process goes. You got to understand your culture, how you do things. Like it's so much that going to play that come into play on a day-to-day operations with running a program, and that's what people don't look at. They just think because you got a 4-star, 5-star quarterback or 2 5-star receivers that you're just supposed to go out there and win every Saturday. It doesn't operate like that. They got some really good programs in this country, preferably in the SEC.
Yeah, the best.
And it just like BK said, it takes time, man. And the ADs that allow their head coaches to figure it out, you at some point start seeing success in the fruits of your labor, right? We talk about BK before the season. If he would have lost against Clemson, they'd have been talking about his buyout and him getting ready to get fired at season's end or in the middle of the season, right?
Yep.
It's crazy because year 1 he went 10-3 or 10-4.
SEC title.
Made to the SEC championship.
Beat Bama.
Beat Alabama, right? Year 2 won 10 games. I think he won 10 games every year since he's been there, right?
Last year you won 9, but yeah.
Last year he won 9, right? But that's not good enough for people. That's not good enough. They want you to be in the national championship mix year in and year out. The SC title year in and year out. It doesn't happen like that.
No.
And I think BK took that personal because the same thing they're saying about Billy Napier is the same things they've been saying about him all summer.
100%.
So that's why I think you're seeing so much passion from him just now in that press conference when he's talking about Billy Napier. And look, for people that's in the coaching fraternity, they know Billy a good dude, bro. He a good dude. He got a good heart. and he gonna do it his way. And so, I hope Strickland, the AD at Florida, allows this process to play out. In the summertime, he talked about how he believed in Billy, and he felt like Billy was gonna get it going at some point. But when you lose to South Florida, people are prisoners of the moment, and they can't handle the backlash from the rival school like Florida State and the Miamis of the world who you be in recruiting battles with when they saying, man, y'all lost to South Florida, the little brother of the state. They can't handle that. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. And look, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for Billy and the Florida Gators, but South Florida a good team, bro.
Hell yeah.
They're a good team. They're a good team, right? They still should have won on Saturday, but it's not. They didn't lose to a slapdick.
No, they didn't. And then I'm gonna double down and say why South Florida's such a good team. Yeah, obviously they beat 25. Now they beat 13. They're number 18. G Saturday they played Miami, and I'm gonna say some crazy shit. If they give Miami a run for their money, that's the best team in the AAC. And Tulane, I don't think has a better shot at that point to get that G5 spot over USF. Byron Brown is an MFer. I ain't gonna lie. Byron Brown.
South Florida is South Florida on Tulane's schedule. I know they're in the same conference, but
let me see. I feel like they should.
Tulane look good, bro.
Tulane does look good. The thing that makes me wonder, and I could be giving too much scrutiny, they gave up 31 to South Alabama. I think USF's defense is
what was 33-31, huh? Tulane?
Yep, 33-31. Nah, they don't play. They're not gonna play this year, bro.
But they're playing the conference championship, right?
Potentially, bro. Tulane on Saturday they are playing Darien Mensah in Duke at home. Then on the next Saturday, on the 20th, they go on the road to Ole Miss.
Last year the game against Ole Miss was close.
It was, and they about to get tested. I ain't gonna lie.
Summerall do a good job, bro.
Shout out to him. I know I sound crazy saying this, but man, I hope if he gets a job, it don't wind up opening the floodgate to Tulane. That's all I want to say. Saturday, we tried to predict the odds, G. LSU, 10-point spread. Totals at 50. Florida is plus 270 on the money line, almost 3 times your money. Here's my take. We'll get to it on Wednesday. If LSU's a 10-point favorite, what you should do, if you are a gambling person, go into your app, go to the alternate spread. Take Florida at like plus 17, plus 20. I don't see Florida getting dog walk by 2 to 3 possessions. Plus 10's crazy. Bet that shit down. I ain't gonna lie. 10-point spread is a lot after what I've seen. I know Florida got whacked. I know everybody's like, oh, well, they're not efficient, this, that, the third. Bro, it's different. And then another thing, I think when you get kicked in your ass a little bit, that next week, you looking to make an example. You pissed off. You angry. You trying to go out there and put some stuff out there on tape. And they're unranked, too. Let's talk about this AP poll before we hop out of here real quick. Florida fell completely out of the mix. South Florida right there at 18. Here's my biggest winners, my biggest losers. Obviously, biggest winner, number 1, South Florida. Come on now.
Hold up. Florida not in the top 25?
Nah, brother, they dropped out. They went from 13 to out of there.
That's ridiculous.
And I want to ask
ridiculous.
I want your opinion on that. Do you think
that's bullshit? That's bullshit, dog.
Like 25?
So hold up. So
look at Notre Dame at 8 at 0-1.
So Florida State beats Alabama.
Yep. Goes to 14.
And Bama fell to what?
Bama fell. They were all right. So they're at 19 right now. They were at 21.
And you take Florida completely out
after USF beat Boise State. G, like USF.
That's mind-boggling. That don't make sense.
Beat 25. USF should have already been ranked going.
If Florida would have lost to Kent State or Toledo or somebody like that, I can understand it, bro. South Florida is ranked. Clearly showed you week 1 when they beat Boise State. They're a good program.
I agree completely.
That's insane.
My other biggest winners, Oklahoma. Sorry, G, but they proved myself. Look, they building. Venables got something brewing. I don't know. Florida State, 77 points. You got to be a winner after that. Like you were saying, Gus Malzahn, masterpiece. My biggest losers, unfortunately, Florida, like we said, dropped out of the top 25. Unfortunately, Arizona State, G, in a similar boat, lost on the road. Cowbells got too damn loud. Sam Levitt couldn't make it.
Dan Mullen. No. That was Mississippi State. I'm sorry.
No,
John Levy.
Yeah.
John Levy. Yeah.
Miss State got an injury too. I'm pretty sure they lost it back. But and then my last loser, SMU, choking the lead, losing in double overtime, punching myself in the gut. Only leg on my parlay to lose, bro. That shit hurt my soul. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Ole Miss didn't look good on Saturday. Austin Simmons has not been looking up to par. Now I know it's only week 2. But he better get things going. Or it's gonna be a long season for their offense.
That Kentucky Ole Miss rivalry got to be studied, dog, because the last 6 meetings now have all been decided by that possession point spread.
I think Stubbs just do a good job against Lane Kiffin. That's what it is.
Is that personal rivalry?
I just think he understands what Lane be trying to do, and he do a great job of scheming for him.
Before we hop out of here, I want to ask you takes on LSU staying at number 3. Some people thought, they ain't do good enough to stay right there. What's your take?
I actually think Oregon and Miami should have jumped LSU.
Okay. And LSU stays in the top 5? They go 5 and then 3, 4?
I think it should have been 5. I think Oregon should have moved up. I think Miami should have moved up.
Miami will potentially crack into the top 3 if they beat USF handily this Saturday, I think. I think that can slide them. Bro, Miami better than I thought they would have been. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to y'all. Y'all got something.
Bro, Miami was good last year. They
were.
They had a bad loss last year. I can't remember who it was, but Miami got a good team, bro. They got a good roster. I like Cristobal. Cristobal do a good job, bro.
I'm impressed because they lost Ward, Restrepo, and Aurora. They're tight end, and bro, they look great. Carson Beck looks great. He's been having a good season. Shout out to him. I can't lie to you. Appreciate everybody for chopping in the chat. We got Patriot in here. Oh, Lord, everybody in here pissed off. He said, keep Stamps on the bench. He had 2 interceptions, and he dropped them. Ooh, and then
I don't agree with shit like that. Yeah. That's why he played defense, bro. That's why you don't play wide receiver.
Somebody said,
as long as he's there, as long as he's in the vicinity making plays, I'm cool with it. Yeah, we want the ball, but hey, give him some grease.
At least it wasn't a big boy. That's true. I ain't lying. Yeah, we got some interesting chats in here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Y'all hit that like button. We about to hop out of here. Follow G on Twitter at G_sports. Appreciate your time, G. We're gonna be back here on Wednesday at 1:00. Game week. It's here. SEC play week 3. Can LSU do it? That's gonna be the narrative all week. We'll find out on Saturday, G. Y'all have a good one. We out of here.